Why couldn't they do this for Thor? Today on Readus Reviews, I review Captain Marvel, the 21st film from Marvel Studios and the semi-final film in Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And, to tell you the truth, readers, I don't really feel comfortable giving a summary about this movie without accidentally giving away any spoilers, so let's just jump into what I thought about the story. So a while ago, I kind of predicted that the story for Captain Marvel was going to be like reverse Hook. And I say that to mean that in the case of Hook, it was about Peter Pan finding out that he was Peter Pan and becoming Peter Pan as a result. This was reverse Hook, in which Carol Danvers is already Captain Marvel, and over the course of the movie she finds out more about her past as a human. So yeah, I kinda totally called that aspect. It was definitely reverse Hook, but with an origin story for Carol Danvers that kind of resembled a page out of Hal Jordan's Green Lantern, with a splash of Batman Begins. If you've seen the movie, you'll understand what I'm talking about. How well do all three of those elements work out to make a cohesive story? Tremendously. Jesus Christ, that was good. I say that because, in my opinion, starting her off with her superpowers and having her go through the movie piecing together bits and pieces of her past as a human helps us get a better grasp of her character. Like, we genuinely want her to piece things together. We want her to find out the truth about herself. And that makes rooting for her to persevere when she actually does do it all the more sweeter, and it feels organic. It doesn't feel forced at all. And the reason why I said what I said about Thor in the opening bit of this video is because, in my opinion, this movie decided to do everything that the first Thor movie sought out to do, but succeeded. The handling of the main character and their journey for self-discovery was done better. The way that they resolved the antagonist's main plan was handled better. The jokes were distributed in a way that didn't feel annoying or repetitive, and it took its serious moments seriously. Out of all the movies that are in the MCU currently as we speak, Thor 1 is the only one that can be properly compared to Captain Marvel, and in actuality, and in all honesty, Captain Marvel is just does it better than Thor. What? You thought I was going to compare this to Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman? Why? So count all that added with how they handle her origin story in this movie, despite them forming it to fit the Infinity Stone narrative that's currently going on in the MCU. Then you have a really engaging plot that's both fresh and stays true to the character's core, with side characters that are just as awesome, serve a purpose, and help bring meaning to the overall story. Speaking of which, let's talk about the characters that stood out to me the most, starting with Carol Danvers. Brie Larson's depiction of Carol Danvers to me was a very nice mix of charming, heartfelt, and genuine. I loved her snark and the fact that she knew when it was appropriate to put it on. I loved her no bullshit attitude and how she handled situations. And seeing her be both vulnerable and emotional when reaching certain hurdles in her development was just hella believable. I loved every minute of it. And seeing Sam Jackson play a younger version of Nick Fury who isn't as serious as his other depictions in this movie was just hella fun, y'all. Which says a lot because, probably with the exception of Mr. Glash for M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, seeing Samuel L. Jackson just have fun with whatever role that he's in is kind of his staple thing, but it wasn't really like that with Nick Fury. It's always been semi-serious with Nick Fury, up until we got this movie. Plus, he and Brie work very well together and play off of each other very nicely. I really like their chemistry in this. Like, if you've seen The Hitman's Bodyguard, just imagine his interaction with Ryan Reynolds over the course of the entire movie, but just dial it back from R to PG-13. Other things I liked about this movie was just the pacing and the overall action of the course of the movie was just very well done. Nothing felt too long, nothing felt too short, and nothing felt out of place. The narrative just flowed seamlessly. The overall look and even the use of the scrolls was fantastic. I say that because a lot of you may not agree with the latter part of my statement after seeing this movie, because the way that they do kind of eliminate a possible story element that they could use for like the next big threat in the MCU. But in my opinion, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Also, it's just like the de-aging technology that Marvel uses in these movies it just gets better and better with every new bitch. And by bitch, I mean movie. No, seriously, just look at 90s Nick Fury and 90s Agent Coulson and you're just like, holy shit. That's really good. That's like young Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War good. And even that was like prototype material. Jesus Christ. But if I were to nitpick about certain things in this movie, I wish that we got more time with certain set designs from other planets that were introduced in this movie, more specifically like the Kree homeworld. I felt that there was only just enough time for us to be introduced to the settings before the scene just went on into the main focus and like the overall action of the scene in question. Not like in Guardians of the Galaxy where we got a good look of everything that was happening before we got into the meat of the scene. I kind of wish that we had that. Also, while the soundtrack was great, the score wasn't as memorable as I would have liked it to be. And this isn't just me being spoiled by Black Panther, no. There has been a very strong lack of individual hero themes since Captain America. It's like it's just been focused on the Avengers and that's it, at least until Black Panther came along. Some would argue that Ant-Man has a definite theme, but it's like, unless you really pay attention, you don't hear it. And I doubt that it's going to come up in Avengers Endgame. It barely even came up in Civil War. But yeah, outside of those nitpicks, Captain Marvel was an excellent film. I really enjoyed it. And it did a better job at telling the story of Thor's introduction into the MCU than the Thor movie did. And that's saying a lot coming from a Thor fan. Yup. The storytelling was great, the acting and the chemistry with the actors was great. And despite using elements of the MCU that I don't necessarily care for, they use it in a way that formed a narrative that I thought was pretty good, so kudos to you. I say it's definitely worth a full admittance price in theaters if you're going to go see it in theaters, which you should. Also, yes, Blu-ray purchase for me too, please. So with that being said, readers, your homework assignment for the day. Write in the comment section below what you thought of Captain Marvel if you've seen it. If you want to help financially support the channel, you can join my Patreon by clicking the card at the end of the video or in the link in the description down below, where you can also find a link to my merchandise store. Or if you prefer to give a one-time donation, you can find links to my PayPal and my Ko-fi account in the page in the description as well. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. But until then, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.